Let's talk about the dream, right? Turning something you absolutely love into your full-time job. I mean, getting paid to do what you'd happily do for free, it sounds perfect. But what if that dream has a really dark side? Today, we are diving deep into the hidden trap of turning your passion into your paycheck. And here it is, the big paradox at the heart of this whole thing. The very act of getting that paycheck for your passion can set off a psychological chain reaction that ends up, believe it or not, destroying the very joy you had in the first place. This is a huge warning for anyone even thinking about going down this road. So, what exactly is this psychological trap? It's not about business plans or marketing strategies, not yet anyway. It's about what happens inside your own brain when something you love suddenly has a price tag attached to it. Let's break it down. At the very core of this trap is something psychologists have known about for a long time. It's called the overjustification effect. Basically, your brain starts to rewire its own logic. It unconsciously starts thinking, I guess I'm not doing this just because I love it anymore. I'm doing it for the money. And that tiny, subtle shift, it can be absolutely devastating to your creativity and joy. This really lays out the two competing forces, doesn't it? On one side, you've got intrinsic motivation. That's the pure internal fire, the joy of creating, the satisfaction of finishing a project. On the other side, you've got extrinsic motivation, the paycheck, the social media praise, the awards. The danger zone is when those external rewards get so loud they drown out the internal ones, and suddenly joy starts to feel a lot like an obligation. And this quote just hits it home. This comes from Hugh Simmon, a guy who lived this trap firsthand. He turned his passion for music into a successful magazine, only to find that all the pressure and the business side of things completely sucked the passion right out of him. It is such a powerful warning. Okay, so is it all just hopeless? Should you never try to monetize your passion? Absolutely not. The key isn't to run away from getting paid. It's to build a much smarter, more strategic foundation from the very beginning. It's about leveling up from just a hobby to what the business thinker Jim Collins calls a hedgehog. Now, the hedgehog concept is so powerful because it goes way beyond just follow your passion. It forces you to get brutally honest and ask two other critical questions. First, what can you be the absolute best in the world at? Not just good at, but the best. And second, what actually makes money? Your sweet spot, your hedgehog, is right there in the middle, where all three of these circles overlap. And this is the real leap, from being good to being truly great. Look, lots of people are good at their hobbies, but a lasting, sustainable business comes from finding that unique space where you are simply unparalleled. And that requires some serious, egoless clarity about what you're amazing at, and, just as important, what you're not. Okay, so you think you found your hedgehog. Awesome. But how do you know if it'll actually work before you do something drastic like quit your day job? You validate it. Think of this 4-step process as your reality check. Define what you think the solution is, then go talk to real potential customers. And please, not your friends and family. And just listen. Listen for patterns. And remember this, finding out your idea won't work is a huge success. It's a gift that saves you time, money, and a whole lot of heartache. Now for a very practical but very important question that has some serious financial consequences. Once you start making some money, you have to figure out, is this a full-blown business? Or is it just a hobby that brings in a little extra cash? Because let me tell you, the IRS has a very strong opinion on this. And this is exactly why it matters so much. If you're a business, you can deduct the costs of your supplies, your marketing, your equipment, all of it, which lowers your tax bill. But if you're a hobbyist, you have to report all the income, but you can't deduct any of the expenses. Ouch. The IRS has a whole list of factors they look at, but it really boils down to whether you act like a business and if you truly intend to make a profit. All right. Let's jump forward to today's crazy digital world. The entire landscape for creators has completely shifted. Success isn't just about raw talent anymore. It's about mastering a whole new playbook for building and, most importantly, owning your audience. Now, this is a really bold statement from the writer Dan Coe, but it is so important. Your follower count on Instagram or TikTok, it's what we call a vanity metric. It feels good, but it's not a real asset. Why? Because those platforms own the relationship with your audience. Their algorithms can change overnight and poof, your reach is gone. The only audience you truly own, the one asset nobody can ever take away from you, is your email list. So how do you actually build that all-important list? You do it with a funnel. You use short form content, your TikToks, your Reels, to attract a really wide audience at the top. Then you use medium form content like Twitter threads or Instagram carousels to educate them and build your authority. And finally, the crucial step, you drive your most dedicated fans to your long form content, your newsletter or podcast. And that's where you truly keep them and build a real, lasting relationship. Okay, so you've built this audience. How are creators actually making a living? Well, you might want to brace yourself for this one because it's probably not what you think. This number represents the single biggest slice of the income pie for most professional creators out there. That's right, a whopping 70% of creator revenue, on average, comes from brand deals and sponsored content. It's really the cornerstone of the whole creator economy. But, and this is a big but, look at all those other slices. The most successful creators never ever rely on just one thing. They build a truly resilient business by stacking multiple income streams on top of each other. Subscriptions, affiliate sales, their own products, you name it. So we've walked through the psychological trap, we've laid out the strategic foundation, and we've covered the modern playbook. Let's pull it all together. The goal isn't to just blindly follow your passion off a cliff. It's to pursue it smartly with intention. So let's just quickly recap the 5 absolute key takeaways. Number 1, always be aware of the overjustification effect to protect that initial spark of joy. 2, use the hedgehog concept to find that powerful intersection of passion, skill, and economics. 3, always validate your ideas in the real world before you leap. 4, focus your energy on building an audience you actually own through an email list. And finally, number 5, create a career that can weather any storm by diversifying your income. And that really leaves us with one final big question for you to think about. A hobby is something you do for love, but a masterpiece is something you build with love, yes, but also with strategy and with real intention. The choice of which one you want to build, well, that's entirely up to you.